Next speaker will be Haleigh Wright from the University of Pittsburgh.
Really good explaining.
She worked with Sean McCulloch from the Department of Math and Computer Science here at Ohio Wesleyan. And the title of her presentation will be Artificial Intelligence for the Modern Board Game Battle Line.
As he said, I'm Haleigh Wright, and we worked on a game, Battle Line, and we created an AI engine for this game. Battle Line is just a simple two-player card game where each player gets 7 cards out of a 60-card deck. There are 6 different colors where each has values 1 through 10, and there are 9 flags with 3 empty slots each. Turns alternate as players attempt to achieve 3-card poker-like formations on these flags. And over here we have an example of the formations in the order of their power. So the most powerful is a straight flush, is just 3 consecutive values of the same color, which beats all below. And second, we have 3 of a kind. Third, we have 3 of a color, which is just a flush. And fourth, we have a straight. And fifth is just nothing, which goes on the total of the cards. So the goal of the game is to obviously win, and you win by claiming 5 flags in all or 3 in a row. So how do we claim a flag? There's 2 ways. So the first way is both players have 3 cards on their side of the flag, and the one with the best rank wins. If the ranks tie, then the best total wins. So the second way is if one player has a full flag, and it can be shown that the opponent cannot win against that formation on that flag. So to do this, we have a simple proving algorithm that uses the information out on the board to notify the player that they can win a flag. So here we have an example, and our computer has on flag 1 a 9-8-7 straight flush, and their opponent has a red 9, so they could get a 10-9-8 straight flush and win, or they could get a 9-8-7 straight flush and tie. But if you look at the computer's flag 2, they've already placed the red 8, so the opponent is not able to get any of these formations, and our algorithm will notify the computer that they can claim this flag. So why do we choose Battle Line? Battle Line has several characteristics that are usually avoided when studying AI by computer scientists. And some of these characteristics are that it's stochastic. There's an element of randomness to the game. You never know what your opponent is going to play, and you never know what cards you're going to pull from the deck at any given turn. This contributes to the incomplete information of the game, and there's also imperfect information, which means the players never know the full state of the game. You never know what your opponent has in their hand. So to make a successful AI for Battle Line, we need to make the best move at any given turn. So how do we make the best move? Well, we need 2 numbers. We need to know what card we're going to play, and we need to know what flag we're going to play this card on. So we decided to arrive at these numbers using a weighted sum model, which is a simple multi-criteria decision-making model that uses attributes. And these attributes are weighted by a characteristic. In our case, we weighted them by importance. And all of them are added together to one number. So we wanted to base our attributes off of major strategies of the game. And some of these are, what are the best formations I can make? How many ways can my opponent beat me on a given flag with that formation? And how close am I to actually completing that formation? There are also some less obvious things that we wanted to add to our attributes, such as how much will placing a given card on one flag detract from our possibilities on other flags, and when should I forfeit a flag? So we started to answer these questions using a simple recursive backtracking algorithm that looks at each of the cards in our hands, places them on the 9 flags, and finds the best possible formations we can get on that flag with that card. So for our example, let's say we have a blue 9 in our hand, and we're considering formations on flag 1, which happens to be empty so far. So our algorithm will yield this result, and we have a 10-9-8 straight flush, 9 3 of a kind, and 2 3s of a color. So we you may be asking, where's the 987 straight flush? Well, for our example, we'll say that we've already placed this blue 7 on our flag 2, so it's no longer in use for us anywhere else in the game. So let's look at our formation 10-9-8 straight flush a little more closely. First, we want to measure the power of our formation. So we do this by having a simple 1D array for each of our flags, and we count the ways that our opponent can beat us on this flag with this formation. So here we see our opponent has a red 9 on their flag 1, so they're still in the running if we do achieve this formation. And you can see that each of the indexes corresponds to a specific formation of the game. And how we count the ways that they can beat us is we simply find the corresponding index to our specific formation and count upward from that index to 0, and that is a number. A 0 indicates their inability to make it, and a 1 indicates their ability to make it. So in this case, we start at the 0th index, and the best they can do is beat us. So this is a pretty powerful formation. Next, we want to measure the risk of going for this formation, and we do this by counting the overlap of these cards with formations that we may need these cards elsewhere on the board. So if you remember that we have on flag 2 the blue 7, and you see here a wish list, which is a simple 2D array where the top index corresponds to the value and the side index corresponds to the color. And depending what's on the flag, we have certain values highlighted. So the blue 4, 5, 6, the blue 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is highlighted with the 1, as they can be part of a high straight flush, the most powerful formation. Second, we have the 7s highlighted with a 0.75 for the second most powerful formation, a 3 of a kind. And third, we have 0.5 for the rest of the blues for 3 of a color. And here we see that going for the 10-9-8 straight flush on flag 1 would have a huge negative impact on our good possibilities for flag 2, which is not good, and we don't want that. Next, we want to measure the completeness of this formation. So we weight our sum of the power and the risk by the number of cards we actually have to go into this formation. Obviously, having 3 cards is better than having 2, which is better than having 1. And to continue with our example, let's further say that we also have the blue 8 in our hand. Here it becomes clear that going for the 9-8-7 on flag 2 would be more beneficial than going for the 10-9-8 on flag 1, because we know that we will get this formation no matter what. We have all the cards. And even though this one is a little higher, we need one specific card to draw into this formation, which is much more difficult to do. So we pick the best score of all these 63 possible scores, the 7 cards on all the 9 flags, and we place this card on this flag, which in this case would be the blue 9 on flag 2. Conversely, we have a different process if our opponent is about to claim a flag and we have an empty space on our opposing flag. In this case, we see they have 3 of a kind 8, and we're going for 3 of a kind 7, so obviously we can't win. And basically what we do is we just take all of our cards and we look at the overlap for all of the other flags using our wish list. And the one with the lowest coincidence on other flags, the lowest number, the one we don't want, we simply place it on that flag. So for our future work, we'd like to fine-tune our attribute weights, such as the values weighting our completeness and in our wish list. We'd like to add more attributes such as global placement consideration, and we've started working on this where we place higher formations, more powerful formations in groups of 3 so that they can go for the easy, quick win of getting 3 in a row. And we would also like to include tactics cards. Tactics cards are a deck separate from our troop deck, the colored cards. They have special powers that alter the play of the game, and they introduce a high level of strategy to the game, so we hope to get to those in the future. And I would like to give a special thanks to Ohio Wesleyan University and the National Science Foundation, and thank you for listening.
questions or discussion?
So have you implemented this to the point where you can actually play it essentially? Or
Yeah. You can play, the version of the game I have, you can play human versus human, or you can play against the computer. And actually, the last I heard from Sean, who is the #1 nationally ranked player, as I'm sure you guys know, it actually beat him, so I'm really excited about that.
Other questions?
What's it coded on? Can you make it into an app so that?
Actually, yeah, right now it's just coded in Java, but there actually is an app, and that's what inspired him to look at this game, because he plays it and he's just like, oh, this AI is horrible, I beat it every time, it's so boring. And so that's what drove us to build this for this game.
Are there other similar games that Sean is looking at? Or?
There's actually the version that I have implemented so far without the tactics cards. That's a game called Schopenhauer. It's like a German version, and then this Battle Line game with the tactics cards is called Battle Line, and that has like the extra strategy of that. It makes it different, but yeah, there's similar games, and we consider it a football strategy game and also a graph theory type game of like, I think you had to like try to find kind of like that kind of like an NP completeness problem,
Okay.
basically.
You need a beta tester for the football simulator.
He's actually got that one started, so you can talk to him.
I should talk to him. All right, let's thank Haleigh again.